the state would like to go forward today, Your Honor, with a default order against Mr. Stewart. The parties have 3 children together. Names are Starlet Stewart, who is 11, Brandon Stewart, who is 8, and Bryson Stewart, who is 5. I believe, Your Honor, that Ms. Netto will testify as to what she thinks is in their best interest with regard to conservatorship, visitation, and support. And I also have Ms. Edna Garcia here as well to testify as to Mr. Stewart's wages.
Okay, and then just so my edification, he was served with a notice of court proceeding that was for today. So, or did y'all send him notice at a different day and time for today's date, today's time, today's Zoom ID number, though, if all those are correct?
Let's see, Your Honor. He was served with a notice of court proceeding, but let me see if it was for today's date.
Okay. Well, actually, if you just want to email them to me, I'll check them afterwards. I like to verify. Even though I trust you as an officer of the court, Mr. Molina.
Yes, Your Honor, but yes, it was for July 1, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. By Zoom with today's Zoom meeting ID number and phone number as well.
Okay, wonderful. Then having heard that, I will take judicial notice of the executed citation and notice. And I assume you send a reminder by email with the way you always do?
We do send reminders out, Your Honor. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to see when it got sent out, though.
Oh, that's a problem you have with some issues with converting to a new system?
Correct, Your Honor.
Well, I know you do it as a matter of policy and course of business, you just do it. So even if I don't, you can't confirm that right now. All the requisite legal things have been taken care
of. Let's see. It looks like we did send out email reminders, but it was way back in March, but it was for today's date.
Okay. Then thank you for that. Then we can go forward.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. State would, I think I'd like to call Ms. Edna Garcia first, Your Honor, to get that information out of the way first. The state would like to call Ms. Edna Garcia. Ms. Garcia, could you please state your name?
Edna Garcia.
And who do you work for?
The Child Support Division with the Attorney General.
What is your job title with the Child Support Division?
Child Support Officer.
And as part of your regular duties as a child support officer, do you look up income information for folks that have cases in the child support courts here in Guadalupe County?
Yes, I do.
And were you able to do that for Mr. Brandon Scott Stewart today?
Yes, I was.
And based on what you can see for his income, let's first talk about what he currently is making. Does it appear that Mr. Stewart is currently receiving unemployment benefits?
Yes, there was a claim filed and active as of May 9th, 2025.
Okay. And from that unemployment claim, can you determine how much he's making in unemployment benefits per month?
He's making 25, what did I say? 25. He's making $591 per week, and so if that's calculated, then it comes out to 25. Let me do that again then. To 2561.
2561 per month. Okay.
Yes.
Do you know how long that will last by any chance?
He has a balance of $13,002. So it will last approximately 20 months. I'm sorry, 22 payments.
Okay, $13,002
divided by 591. Yeah, it'd be 22 pay periods, 22 weeks of payments. So
okay, so approximately 5 months.
Right.
Okay. All right. And so that's what he's currently receiving. Can you tell what he was doing before he started getting unemployment?
Yes, he was working with Xerox Corporation, and for the last 12-month period, he made an average of $6,353.65 per month.
Okay.
The average for
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please continue. I interrupted
okay.
you.
Okay, so then the average for the year of 2024, he was making $5,836.81. You want 23?
I think the main thing I wanted to know from his work there at Xerxes there was when did he start working there?
He started working in the second quarter of 2018, but then he had he went with someone else. And after that, between 2018 and I'm sorry, the third quarter of 2022,
Okay.
he was with a different company.
Okay. In the third quarter of 2022, how much did he make at Xerxes?
13,418.93.
And from there, how much did he make in the last quarter that we have in 2025?
Which is the first quarter of this year, is 17,142.99.
Okay. So, from what it looks like, does it look like he increased his income as time went on when he was working there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so, I think that's all the questions I had for you, Ms. Garcia. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Nieto, since you're here acting as your own representative, like your own lawyer, you have the right to ask questions of any witnesses. Do you have any questions for Ms. Garcia that are on the issue that she testified to about Mr. Stewart's income? Do you have any questions for her?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think I got it. And it was Xerxes, Xerxes, or how do you spell that? What is that?
It's
X.
at,
Oh, sorry. It's XERXES.
Yeah, I guess that part, but you don't know what kind of company that is, Ms. Garcia, just generally speaking.
I do not.
I know I don't either. Okay, and I know your records don't indicate what kind of his position there would be, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I think we have enough info for past, present, and recent. Okay, then if there's nothing further, Ms. Garcia, you're excused, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. State would like to call Ms. Kimberly Nieto.
Okay.
Ms. Nieto, let's go ahead, I guess, and start with the child support, because that's where we were left off with Ms. Garcia here. Based on what the state could find out with regard to his income in the past and what his unemployment is, the state's calculation for child support based on unemployment right now is $661 per month in child support, and that is including a $57 a month payment for medical support. Are you in agreement to set child support in that amount for all three of your children?
Yes.
Now, there's also some step down amounts that we've calculated for when the children start graduating high school if child support remains at that amount. And that's that's $540 a month for the second oldest child, and I think I said that wrong. Actually, I'm sorry. It's $543 for the second oldest child and $434 for the youngest child after the older two graduate high school. And so, do you have any questions about how that amount of child support was calculated?
No, sir.
Okay. With regard to back child support, can you tell me, when did the two of you separate and stop living together as a family?
As a family, it would have been in 2019, when Bryson was born. 2020, I started living with family and friends. But as far as me and him being in the same household, it was going to be 2020. I'm going to go ahead and say 2020. In these past 5 years, we've been separated.
Was it at the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021?
The beginning of 2021.
Okay. And how do you recall that it was that at that time? Was it after the holidays or?
Yes, because my mom had passed away. And so I was with my mom before she had caught cancer.
Okay. And so since early 2021, in January 2021, has he given you any money for the support of y'all's three children?
No, sir.
Has he bought them stuff like clothing, school clothes, school equipment, supplies, or groceries or anything like that?
No, sir.
Have you ever asked them to help support you with the children financially?
Yes, sir. So our oldest, Starlet Stewart, who is 11, she made the dance team for the middle school. I recently asked for him to provide some boots that she needed that were $100. She is going to be in the parade this upcoming Friday. These boots were a mandatory thing that she needed. I still owe the dance teacher $200. I had to talk to Miss Yabata and tell Miss Yabata if she can give me a little bit of time just so that I can come up with the $200. I did let him know that we do owe that. And he did not want to help me out on the $200 that I owe for dance. He did not want to help me out with the $100 for the boots that I had to provide for her. So I went ahead and provided the $100 boots that she needed, which is actually setting me behind on rent. I have to pay rent today, and I am actually $200 behind on rent just because I had to provide the boots that she needed for dance. He's not wanting to help me pay for anything when it comes to things that are needed.
Has he told you why?
No, as far as me asking him last time why, because these are not just my kids, they're our kids, and I needed help. He just told me he didn't need to help me, that I didn't need to worry about where he's getting money, if he's getting money, and for me to figure it out.
Okay. Um, based on his prior employer here, as Ms. Edna Garcia testified, that he worked for Xerxes, the state has gone ahead and added up what a retroactive child support amount would be for going back to January of 2021. And that amount that I've calculated is $49,176. Do you believe that Mr. Stewart should be ordered to pay that much in retroactive child support to you for the three children that y'all have together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If the court orders that amount in retroactive child support, then the state's recommendation for a payment on that amount is $500 per month, beginning August 1, 2025. Okay, so that's the child support part. And with regard to Mr. Stewart, do you know if he has any other children besides the three that he has with you?
No, sir.
And with regard to medical support, how are the children covered for healthcare coverage right now?
So right now they get Edna Medicaid. They are actually covered until September, and then I have to reapply for Medicaid.
Okay, all right, all right. So I think we got the child support terms discussed here. Let's move on to the conservatorship and the visitation. Now, with regard to you and Mr. Stewart, is it fair to say that he has a history of violence and a drinking problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that what caused y'all to separate?
Yes, sir. That is why it caused us to separate, especially for my mental health. He's very verbally abusive, and I had to go put myself on anxiety medication just because I couldn't handle the abuse anymore.
Okay. And has there been incidents where you had to call the police
Yes,
against
there's
Mr.
been
Stewart?
a couple of incidents where I had to call the police just because he was being violent. And I was scared for my life at that moment just because the way he acts and lashes out. There is a couple of times where we have it out here documented for domestic violence just because he would act crazy.
And has he been arrested for those things?
Arrested, yes, he has been arrested for domestic violence. He just recently did a 2-year probation for domestic violence. And there is also another incident where he went in for public intoxication for being violent toward the police officers.
Okay. Is he still on probation for domestic violence, or is that over now?
I think that he just recently paid it off.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure. I never got to talk to his probation officer.
And with that history, what's your communication like with him now?
Our communication is very simple. When I do let him see the kids, we meet up in an open area for everyone to be around. Usually it's just, okay, I'm gonna get the kids, and at this time, it's never nothing more of us talking more than we need to.
I see. Okay. And so, when it comes to the visits, are the kids having visits with Mr. Stewart every week?
Yes, they're fine with the visits every week.
And tell me how those visits go usually. Do you drop them off and he takes them and then you pick them up later, or how does it go?
Yes, I'm not too sure if he has a vehicle at this moment or if he's using his I know he is dating. I don't know if that's her car. Um, but I do meet up with him and he'll take them for a few hours. Usually it's just to take them to get Whataburger or McDonald's. He'll spend time with them. Sometimes it's pizza at the park. Um, and then he'll spend time with them for a couple hours and then I'll go back and pick them up.
And can you tell me how do you believe his relationship is with the children?
So my kids are very verbal. And so when they are with their dad, I'll ask them, how was your visit? How was everything? How do you feel? For the most part, they always tell me they're okay unless, he upsetted them. And when I say upsetting, he might have yelled somewhere and that could have hurt their feelings somewhere.
Do you think that he would ever intentionally harm the children physically or emotionally?
Emotionally, yes, I do see my kids being emotionally hurt, just because he's very verbal, when it comes to being ugly. Physically wise, no, I don't see him hurting them. But emotionally wise, yes, I feel like I may want to start looking into therapy for my oldest, just because she's the oldest and has seen a lot already, when it comes to me and her dad.
Okay. And do your children have phones, or does your oldest have a phone that she can use to contact you during the
Yeah.
visits?
Yes, sir. So my oldest, Starlet Stewart, she has a phone, and I actually pay her bill every month. And so when she is with her dad, I will text her throughout the whole time or call her. And I also tell her if she ever feels like it's unsafe for them or if she needs me to go get them immediately, then I will.
And how long have you been doing this type of visits with Mr. Stewart?
I've been doing these visits, a total of 7 to 8 months.
And has it been going okay for you, him, and the children?
It's been going okay for us. There was just one time where he wanted to meet up with them, but I felt like it wasn't okay. It wasn't a good situation. And so I waited a couple of days until he could meet up with them again. Usually, whenever I do talk to their dad, Brandon, I can tell, if he's been drinking or if he hasn't. And for the most part, he usually is sober. But like I said, if I feel like it's not okay for them, then I won't let them go for that day.
Okay. And so thus far, has that been working out based on your own schedule and his schedule about when the days of the week that the visits occur on?
Yes, it's been working out for us because we're going off of my schedule. Usually the days that I'm off are the days that I will uh when he reaches out, I'll reach back out and be like, okay, well, I'm off today. You can go ahead and do things you need to do with them today. Usually that gives me time to clean up my apartment and see if I can go seek out and get food for the house and stuff.
Okay. And so, but with regard to conservatorship and visitation. Based on what you've said, do you believe it's in the children's best interest that you be appointed as their sole managing conservator?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that means you would make most of the major decisions in their life, like where they live and where they go to school, and if they have to have like psychological or psychiatric treatment or major invasive medical procedures? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And with regard to Mr. Stewart, if you're the primary managing conservator, then he would be known as the possessory conservator. So he would still have the powers such as being able to talk to you about the children before any major decision is made in their life, being able to talk to any teachers or doctors they have, or have access to school records or medical records, being able to consent to medical care for them as well. Unless it's an invasive medical procedure, then that right goes to you, unless it's an emergency, and then he can consent to that as well. Do you understand that part, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And the big thing is for him, though, is he would have the right to visit the children. And based on what you've said, are you asking that the visits take place on every Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5 p.m., with the pickup and drop off location being at the Walmart parking lot in Seguin, Texas?
Yes, sir.
And as part of those visits, it could be that at the very top of the order, it'll say that you and Mr. Stewart can agree to something different. If you mutually agree to switch the days and the times, or how the visits take place or when they take place, you can agree to that with him, if that's something that's been working out for you so far. Do you understand that part, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
But in the absence of that agreement, if y'all don't agree for whatever reason, then you do have to fall back to whatever the order says, which would be Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. At the drop off at the Walmart parking lot, as well as the pickup. In addition to visits on those days, would you be in agreement to do electronic visits, like FaceTime phone calls with Mr. Stewart and the children, at least once per week?
Yes, sir.
And do you want to do that at any reasonable times and for reasonable durations, one time per week, just depending on you and Mr. Stewart's and the kids' schedules?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Then I believe that's all I wanted to ask you about with regard to conservatorship and visitation. I want to go to the issue of non-disclosure. Currently, does Mr. Stewart know where you live?
No, sir.
In the past, when he has known where you lived, has that caused you problems?
Yes, sir. It has caused problems.
Okay, what has he done when he had your address in the past?
So when we have gone through a separation in the past, I was living with some family members. He had pulled up, very aggressive, very violent. The cops were called. He was nonstop banging on the front door. He went as far as climbing the window in the back. He had went as far as almost getting one of my family members evicted, just because he was acting out of control. There has been another time where I have gone to one of my friend's house just to get away for the night, and he had repeatedly followed me, not really to, I don't want to say in my life, but he's a violent person whenever he's drinking. And so I feel like it's better if he doesn't know where my address is at. I just don't want to be in that situation where he pulls up to my apartment complex and causes problems at my place or around my kids or around my neighbors. And so I feel like he doesn't need to know where I live.
Okay. And so, based on that behavior, do you think the court should keep your address non-disclosed in this order, so that it's not in the court order?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Nieto. I think that's everything I wanted to ask you. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Ms. Nieto, do you know what kind of work he does when he was at that company that that Ms. Garcia testified to?
Yes, ma'am. So Xerxes is a fiberglass company, and as far as I know, he did assembly line. I'm not too sure if it was molding. Towards the end, I think he got a promotion and he was a tester. where they test the tanks before they get sent out to, I think it's different gas stations around the world, like Buc-ee's, Shell's. But for the most part, I know it's a fiberglass company.
And do you, as far as his unemployment, he obviously wasn't fired or wasn't for a cause or he wouldn't qualify for it. Do you know what happened to his job? Did he ever tell you anything about that? How he's not
No,
working now?
no, ma'am. I think he did get fired for some reason. I'm not too sure why. Um, but I know that he did get fired from there.
Okay. Usually when that's considered for cause, and sometimes they don't qualify for, but maybe we don't know. You don't really know. Okay. You did use the word family violence and domestic violence a bit, and I heard about the police calls and those kinds of things. But also when you talked, it was about verbal and emotional abuse. Like actually physically, did he put his hands on you? I don't want to necessarily too many details, but is actual physical abuse that you're talking about when you say family violence and domestic violence?
So I think we had an incident in 2000. Let me see. It started about 2000. Maybe about 2014, 2015, there could have been physical abuse at that time. I think we have it on document on paperwork as well. I do remember having some photos getting taken of me from the police officer whenever he did get physically violent on me. After that incident, everything that happened when I would have to call the cops, it was more of a verbal abuse towards me. And since it had already got physical at one time in my life, I have felt the need to call them just because they were very small at that moment too. And I felt like they didn't need to see that. And that's why today I'm not in that situation with him.
Okay, well, I'm not saying I'm condoning it in any way or shape, form, or fashion, but that was what, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, or 11 years ago. Anything in the past couple of years that have risen to the level where you were in serious fear?
Serious
for
harm?
yourself?
No, ma'am. He's never put his hands on me. It was more of a verbal abuse towards me, where it would get my mental health pretty bad, where my anxiety would be really bad. And like I said earlier, I'm actually on anxiety medication just because he had put me there already. It's more of him being very verbal abusive towards me, verbal abusive towards the kids whenever we were in the house together. He's just an angry person.
But like in the last 2 years, when you say you communicate just the minimum you need to communicate, that's still happening?
Minimum, yes, ma'am. We don't talk about anything. It's very minimum. I feel like there's no need for us to talk unless it's about the kids.
Well, I get that, but are you saying you're still on anxiety medicine for things that happened a while back, or something's
Yes,
happening?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My anxiety never went back to normal. I'm actually off my medication. I have to go back to the doctor to get back on my medication. It's been about a month since I've been off of them.
I'm not saying nothing happened, and I'm not, but I have to follow the law. And I'm trying to figure out, because it is an important thing to know where your kids live, so you know where they are, that they're safe there, and they're not in bad environments, and so it is a big deal. And a lot of times when I do non-disclosures, because there has been recent family violence, or there's been protective orders or temporary protective orders or charges filed, even if they didn't go through, but there's some other things, not just verbal or emotionally verbal abuse. So I'm trying to, and he hasn't come knocking on your door trying to bust into a window or anything. And that was,
He hasn't came to my house or knocked on my door or broke my window because he doesn't know where I live. I feel like if
how
he
long has
did know,
how long has he not known where you live?
I've had my apartment for a good 7 to 8 months since we've been doing the little meetups here and there. He'll ask the kids where I live at, and I have small talks with my kids every day. I'm very close with my kids, and they know not to tell dad where I live because they've seen how he's acted, where he's banging on the door, just doing things that he doesn't need to be doing. And
So
so
even the
for
banging at the door when he's trespassing, I guess you haven't, how long ago was that?
That was about 2 years ago. But I know he is capable of being violent. I also know if he does find out where I live, I feel like there's a possibility he could be out there, lashing out, drinking, and then show up at my apartment unannounced. And that's when it's gonna happen, where he's gonna repeatedly bang on my door, possibly break my window, possibly even break my car windows, because that's the type of person he is.
When you say he's capable of violence, what do you know about that firsthand?
Firsthand, because I've seen it in the past.
Tell me what you saw.
I've seen him repeatedly bang on one of my family members' door whenever we didn't answer to let him back inside or to even be near me. And it was because I was leaving him. He couldn't take the fact that I left him. Cops were called that night. He also repeatedly climbed the back of the apartment complex and was banging on the window where it was almost broken while I was inside because I was trying to avoid the whole situation while he was drunk.
Okay, family violence is a big accusation. I'm trying to figure out if you have seen him actually physically hurt somebody else.
Have I ever seen him physically hurt anybody else? No, ma'am.
Are you aware that he was charged for family violence or physical abuse of assault, any kind? Are you, anybody else? I think you said maybe the police officer. How long ago was that?
So he went to jail for public intoxication. He was being aggressive towards the police officer. I want to say this might have been at the beginning of this year or the end of last year, 2024. I can't really tell you exact what dates, but I know that it was recently.
Okay. Anything else you think you can tell me that'll help me with that issue?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I guess, Mr. Valdez, do you want to make a closing? I assume you're done with witnessing.
I am, Your Honor.
Well,
Yes,
let me
Your
ask your folks, is everybody that's in the waiting room right now, probably 1030 cases that are coming up, not anybody that needs to be in for an 830 case? Ms. Delgado, do you know?
Yes, ma'am. They're all 10:30.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Valdez, I think we can still finish this before 1030.
Yes, Your Honor. With regard to this case, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is that the parties be appointed as managing conservator, with Ms. Netto as the primary managing conservator of all three children, Mr. Stewart as the possessory conservator. The state's request for visitation, according to Ms. Netto's testimony, is every Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. with a pickup and drop off at the Walmart parking lot located in Seguin, Texas. As well as electronic visits with the children every week at any reasonable time and for any reasonable duration the parties agree to. With regard to child support, the state's request in child support is that child support be set at $661 per month beginning July 15, 2025, since we're here at the beginning of the month. With the retroactive child support, going back to the child support, step down amounts in the child support being set at $543 per month and $434 per month. And I'm sorry, I think I said $661. I meant $651, Your Honor. $651 for child support beginning July 15, 2025, with the step downs of $543 and $434. With regard to retroactive child support, Your Honor, the state's calculated amount is $49,176 with recommended payout of that of $500. So altogether, that would come out to a monthly payment.
I try to wait, my name is on there to work transaction. Okay, give me a second. Okay.
That would come out to $1,151 per month combined, and the state is also asking for a medical support amount of $57 per month, also beginning July 15, 2025.
Tell me how many months you calculated that 49,000 at what rate?
That's going back to 2021, Your Honor, beginning January 2021 to now, to June of 2025. And what I did was go back to see what we have for reported income for all those years and averaged out how much he was making per year. So and then applied the guidelines to that not per year, but per quarter, and then added them all up together. So in 2021, the retroactive amount of child support was $4,176. In 2022, it was $9,948. In 2023, it was $12,450. In 2024, it was $17,280. And in 2025, it's $5,292.
Those are quarterly amounts, right?
They're not all quarterly amounts. Those are yearly amounts, but I based them off what quarterly income was.
Well, I'm just trying to say, you're not telling me that you base child support on 17,280 a month, right?
Correct.
2024 with what those, so they're all quarterly, or they're not, or they're different?
Those amounts are all the guideline child support amounts for the year, but the quarterly amounts are
No, well, I thought I heard you say, well, maybe I misunderstood. Some of them were smaller than others, but they were all high enough to where that's not child support, right? That's income monthly or income quarterly, or are you jumping around from?
no, Your Honor, just
No.
no. These numbers were calculated based on the quarterly income that he received in the years 2022 to 2025 at Xerxes. And so some of those quarters he was making less, especially at the beginning, but towards the end of his time there, he was making more. And so the child support kept on increasing as each year went on.
I guess you don't know how much, or did you calculate or write it down, and you can review it, how much monthly amounts you were calculating for each year?
No, I didn't. I just didn't write them down, Your Honor, but let's see here.
So 48 months, all of 21, 22, 23, 24, plus 6 months in 25. So you're doing 54 months? Is that what you did?
Yes, Your Honor.
So just an average of the entire amount, let's see, 49,176. I know that's not what you did, but I don't know how else to figure out what you did other than average it divided by 54 months. It comes out to 910, almost 911 a month. Okay. It's just that, ma'am, just because they calculated this number doesn't mean I have to give it to you. It's called discretionary. The court hears the facts and tries to figure out what would be fair, right? And it can include hardship. Hardship is how would it hurt somebody to have this kind of debt, not one day, but the next day didn't bother to come to court. Now he owes $49,000 and it's going to take him, I don't know how long to pay. And it's going to be averaging in interest because the state lets you charge interest on it, 6% annual interest. So I'm figuring it's going to be, 49,000 that he owes. It probably in the range of 200, 250 a month, just interest every month. So it even keeps growing no matter if he's paying his payments. And so it's not often I give money this high, and unless it's been a much longer period of time or whatever. But do you understand that I'm not sure I'm going to give you 49,000 and that you're entitled to it today, especially if you know he's on unemployment benefits? And just so you're listening and thinking about that. And Mr. Valdez, did I hear you that you wanted set current child support based on unemployment benefits?
That's right, Your Honor.
Shoot, I'd rather give her current for the higher amount, or even if we calculate it out 6 months from now, because his unemployment runs out or he'll find a job by then give her 49,000 in back pay with all that interest accruing. Yeah, or make this a temporary order to come back because see what happened. Because you give you 600, that's great. But if we do it on a final order and then he gets a job making what he used to make, you're entitled to more than the 600. So I'm all over the place on this, Mr. Valdez. You sure you want a final order?
From the state's perspective, I think, when I add up his retro plus his current support, it's going to come out to about $1,208 per month, which I think is a fair amount for 3 children. And based on his employment history, I think he has shown that he's got the earning capacity to earn about that much and pay that much in a monthly support. So I don't see a difference in really in making it temporary or final, Your Honor. So between the two, I would say finalize, but the state has no objection to the court's
Yeah, I do see a
discretion.
difference between letting her get 1208 based on a huge retro and low support. Then she comes back next year and because he's making more and she's entitled to more. But I don't try to, I don't, I don't do calculations that way. I have to do them based on what I see now for the current and and use the law for the retro. So that's the way, I'm not you and you're not me, Mr. Valdez, and clearly we know that already. Do you have anything to say, Ms. Nieto, about whether you want to come back again, see if he's making more and then give it till the end of the year, maybe by October, November, see where he landed? And maybe you entitle more support, or you taking your chances right now with the 600?
I'm gonna take chances right now, because I know the unemployment is not gonna last forever for him, and I'm sure he's gonna have to go back out there to work.
Yeah, but by taking chances, you mean you want a final order and then you just come back later?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But you get that I might not give you the 49,000 right now. You get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. Valdez?
No, Your Honor. Oh, court costs, Your Honor. The state would like to assess court costs against Mr. Stewart in this case.
Okay, now it's 10:31. Give me, I think I'm almost done. I'll make those people wait just a few more minutes. Okay, now this is what I'm gonna do. It will be a final order. I will find that he's the father of all 3 children. I will rebut the presumption of joint managing conservatorship, appoint the mother the sole conservator. And there was no request for geographic restrictions on this one, Mr. Valdez.
No, Your Honor.
And then, so I'll grant that. Father's the possessory conservator. I'm not going to repeat what you said about the visits on the weekends for a few hours, both Saturdays and Sundays with exchanges at Walmart. I am going to grant that. However, I'm
Yes,
also
Your Honor.
going to grant a restriction on any drugs or alcohol, that he can't do any of that before, during the visits, or he
Yes, Your
forfeits
Honor.
the visits. I'm also going to put some, well, you're the one that calls him to do the visits, Ms. Nieto, or is he calling you?
Yes, ma'am. So he'll reach out, and if I have to work, then I reach out the day that I'm off, and I tell him, okay, today I'm off. We can go ahead and do a visit today.
So do you want him to be the one to call you in advance to let you know he wants to visit and then you figure out the day? Or it's all gonna be on Saturday and Sunday and he needs to tell you at least 48 hours ahead of time so you can make sure that they're there even if somebody else has to take them?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna go ahead and leave Saturday and Sunday for visits.
Okay, so you want advance notice of what, at least 48 hours? At least-
48 hours in case he can't get them.
Okay, advance notice, 48 hours notice, and he fails to give you advance notice, he also forfeits the visits that way. And I'm gonna say it's to your text number since he has that already, correct? And that's how you communicate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he can text you the advance notice. I'm gonna grant the request for electronic communication, at least weekly and at reasonable times and durations. The issue of child support, sometimes be careful what you ask for because you may get it. So I'm gonna grant the state's request of $651 a month current, starting July 15th, going down to $543 and going down to $434 as each child emancipates. Medical support, $57 a month, also starting July 15th. On the issue of retroactive child support, I can't do 49,000. I don't see how people would ever get up from under debt with the interest calculation and all that. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to ask you. You're entitled to ask for it, but then you're stuck with what the judge does. It is discretionary. I think I will order retroactive support at least 500 a month times 54 months. I'll grant $27,000. That's still a chunk of change. That's still a lot. And it's still going to carry interest on top of that, but I can't do 49,000 in good conscience. That'd be a hardship for anybody. 27,000, you still want the 500 so that she can get the higher amount right now, Mr. Valdez? I'm okay with that.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he pays it off quicker and you get the monthly amounts that you think you need. 500 a month starting also July 15th. And retro is as of today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, July 1st. What else did I leave out? Non-disclosure. I struggled with that, but if he's that bad and he's still knocking on doors or trying to find out where you are, he might have bad motives when he's under the influence. So I am going to grant the non-disclosure finding at this time. So he doesn't get to know your address for your physical address or your work address, but I am going to do an exception for your cell number and for an email address. There's also an app called App Close that if you log on and you can share information or more information, including photos or bills or medical bills or those kinds of things. Would you want to have that as a tool to use if he wants to log on? And at least you know where it is and what it is and how to get it, or are you not going to do it, Ms. Nieto? Or
No, ma'am. No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Then I won't order it. The non-disclosure and court cost, on this one, I'm okay granting it. He has had income. He's probably gonna get back on his feet. But make sure, I'm gonna put a date on it. It'll be a year from today. So you can pay monthly for a year as the clerk bills him. So that as of, it's due no later than July 1st, 2026 for court costs. Did I cover everything, Mr. Valdez?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe so. I have all the terms written down and can draft that order.
And just for the sake of the record, no retroactive medical support, no retroactive dental support. It was all child support.
Yes, Your Honor.
That'll be the order of the court. I'm rendering the order by default against Mr. Stewart. That means he's not here. He didn't get a chance to tell his side. He might be trying to appeal this, maybe not. I have no idea. He has certain rights. It's now that I've entered an order. However, the state's gonna have to draft it, send it to you by email so you can look at it and try to sign off on it. If you can sign it, great. Send it right back. If you can't, for whatever reason, they'll submit it to me a week from today without your signature, Ms. Nieto. So if you have questions, you call them. If you see problems, you talk to them. You can't call me, but if they don't hear from you and you haven't signed it, they're going to submit it without your signature 1 week from today. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions or concerns, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
Then good luck to you and your children, and that'll be the order of the court. If you would log off, I need to get us out of here real quick so we can let the next set of people in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Nieto has exited the virtual courtroom. That'll conclude this hearing.